Expand your vocabulary with our Core 2000 Words ebook. It's free and packed with essential expressions that you'll use on a daily basis. Start building your vocabulary today. Click the link in the description below to download your free Portuguese ebook before it's gone. Hi everyone, I'm Alicia. Welcome to Conversational Phrases. We've found that the best way to learn a language is to speak it from day one. And the best way to start speaking is to learn phrases that you'll use in real conversations. In this lesson, you'll learn conversational phrases to ask and answer the question, how do you say this? After watching this video, you'll be able to ask someone how a word is pronounced. And if you want to learn more vocabulary, phrases, and example sentences you can use in real-life situations, click the link in the description to download your How to Say Something PDF cheat sheet for free. Now, let's take a look at some conversational phrases.
Listen to the dialogue.
Como se diz isto?
Se diz estacionamento.
Once more with the English translation.
Como se diz isto?
How do you say this?
Se diz estacionamento.
It's parking lot. First of all, you'll need to learn how to say, how do you say this? That's,
Como se diz isto?
listen to it again.
Como se diz isto? Como se diz isto?
This Portuguese sentence literally translates into, how is it said? But it means, how do you say this in English? Now, how do you answer this question? The pattern is,
Se diz.
word. This Portuguese sentence literally translates into, it is said word. But it means, it's word. For example, it's parking lot.
Se diz estacionamento. Se diz estacionamento.
Here are a few useful words you can use with the same pattern. Parking lot,
Estacionamento. Estacionamento.
giraffe,
Girafa. Girafa.
dog,
Cachorro. Cachorro.
morning,
Manhã. Manhã.
Let's look at some examples. Listen and repeat or speak along with the native speakers.
Como se diz isto?
Se diz girafa.
Como se diz isto?
Se diz cachorro.
Como se diz isto?
Se diz manhã.
Okay, now it's your turn. Do you remember how to say, how do you say this?
Como se diz isto?
Imagine it's the word giraffe. Do you remember how to say giraffe?
Girafa. Girafa.
Say, it's giraffe.
Se diz girafa.
Now answer the question saying, it's giraffe.
Como se diz isto?
Se diz girafa.
Now, imagine it's the word dog. Do you remember how to say dog?
Cachorro. Cachorro.
Say, it's dog.
Se diz cachorro.
Now answer the question saying it's dog.
Como se diz isto?
Se diz cachorro.
Now imagine it's the word morning. Do you remember how to say morning?
Manhã. Manhã.
Say, it's morning.
Se diz manhã.
Answer the question saying it's morning.
Como se diz isto?
Se diz manhã.
You've studied for a while and are ready to talk to people and practice what you've learned. But where do you start? Starting a conversation in a new language can seem a bit intimidating. How do you just jump into it? In this video, we'll look at 5 ways to start conversations. Number 1. Introduce yourself in your target language. This is usually one of the first things you learn when you start studying a new language. And sometimes, starting a conversation, or continuing one, is as simple as introducing yourself. Number 2. Talking about the weather. This is a universal talking point. People talk about the weather all over the world. And just saying, "It's really nice today," is enough to start a conversation. A great way to practice your weather conversation skills is to check out our Can-Do lesson pathway. This series of lessons teaches you how to talk about the weather in your target language. Number 3. Give compliments. Compliments are a great way to start a conversation. You can compliment something about your conversation partner's city, country, or something specific to them personally. "Hey, your bag is super cute," or "That ice cream looks delicious." These kinds of compliments can lead to further conversation about what you complimented. In this case, it could be fashion or a local restaurant. This is a great way to make quick connections with people. Number 4. Ask for help. For example, you can ask for directions, ask about prices, or request recommendations for restaurants or shopping spots, and let the conversation go from there. People are usually happy to lend a helping hand to tourists who are visiting their city. Number 5. Learn phrases for transactions. This can include getting a room at a hotel, or telling a taxi driver where to go. When you're traveling overseas, you'll need to talk to other people in your target language. And while this might be a bit scary at first, you'll find that the people you meet are just happy that you're trying to communicate with them. So get started talking in your target language now. For even more tips on how to start conversations, check out our complete language learning program. Sign up for your free lifetime account by clicking on the link in the description. Get tons of resources to have you speaking in your target language. And if you enjoyed these tips, hit the like button, share the video with anyone who's trying to learn a new language, and subscribe to our channel. We release new videos every week. I'll see you next time. Bye! Hi everyone, I'm Alicia. Welcome to Conversational Phrases. We've found that the best way to learn a language is to speak it from day one. And the best way to start speaking is to learn phrases that you'll use in real conversations. In this lesson, we'll learn conversational phrases to answer the question, "What's your favorite number?" After watching this video, you'll be able to say many numbers and ask someone their favorite number. And if you want to learn more vocabulary, phrases, and example sentences you can use in real-life situations, click the link in the description to download your Talking About Numbers PDF cheat sheet for free. Now, let's take a look at some conversational phrases.
Listen to the dialogue.
Qual é o seu número favorito? É o número 7.
Once more with the English translation.
Qual é o seu número favorito?
What's your favorite number?
É o número 7.
It's 7. First of all, you'll need to learn how to say, "What's your favorite number?" That's,
Qual é o seu número favorito?
listen to it again.
Qual é o seu número favorito? Qual é o seu número favorito?
Now, how do you answer this question? The pattern is
É o número.
number. This Portuguese sentence literally translates into it's the number, number. But it means its number. For example, it's 7.
É o número 7. É o número 7.
Here are a few more numbers you can use with the same pattern. 7,
7. 7.
2,
2. 2.
4,
4. 4.
9,
9. 9.
Let's look at some examples. Listen and repeat or speak along with the native speakers.
Qual é o seu número favorito? É o número 2. Qual é o seu número favorito? É o número 4. Qual é o seu número favorito? É o número 9.
Okay, now it's your turn. Do you remember how to say, "What's your favorite number?"
Qual é o seu número favorito?
Imagine it's 2. Do you remember how to say 2?
2. 2.
Say, it's 2.
É o número 2.
Now answer the question saying, it's 2.
Qual é o seu número favorito? É o número 2.
Now imagine it's 4. Do you remember how to say 4?
4. 4.
Say, it's 4.
É o número 4.
Now answer the question by saying, it's 4.
Qual é o seu número favorito? É o número 4.
Now imagine it's 9. Do you remember how to say 9?
9. 9.
Say, it's 9.
É o número 9.
Now answer the question saying, it's 9.
Qual é o seu número favorito? É o número 9.
Want to speak your target language with confidence and impress native speakers? When learning to speak a new language, you have lots of things to think about, including grammar, vocabulary, and pronunciation. Because you're thinking of all of these things and trying to speak, it can be difficult to communicate with confidence, especially in the beginning. This is why it's helpful to make confidence-building exercises part of your language learning process. In this video, you'll learn 7 ways to boost your confidence. 1. Read out loud. This might seem pretty basic, but it's a great way to practice speaking. Reading aloud lets you practice speaking without having to think about grammar or things to talk about. Reading out loud lets you focus on your pronunciation and the rhythm of the language. It can help you learn to speak more smoothly and quickly, without even thinking about it. If you're using our lessons, read the dialogue out loud as you listen. You can read along with the dialogue tool, the lesson notes, or the transcript. 2. Read like a child. This might sound strange, but think about children learning to read. They go slow and sound everything out. Maybe it takes 2 or 3 tries before they read a new word smoothly, and a few more tries before they can read it at a natural pace. This example applies to language learning too. If you find a complex sentence in something you're reading, read it slowly at first, then speed up. With practice, you'll be able to say it easily. It might feel a bit silly to speak very slowly, but this kind of practice can help you identify tough sounds you might miss or say incorrectly when reading quickly. 3. Use the dialogue breakdown tool. If you're using our site, this is a great tool to take advantage of. It breaks down lesson conversations into individual lines. You can listen to the audio for each line, learn what each line means, and can reread and review as much as you want. 4. Use the voice recorder to record and compare yourself with native speakers. Just click on the microphone icon next to each line in the dialogue section. You can use this tool to perfect your pronunciation if you like, but this is also something you can use to work on speaking with confidence at native level speed. You'll find this tool in the dialogue section of all of our lessons. 5. Repeat and review old lesson conversations. Reviewing what you've studied in the past is the best way to make sure you maintain what you've learned. Go back to older lessons, download the lesson dialogue tracks, and re-listen to the conversations again and again. Or you can reread the dialogue lines from previous lessons until you've mastered them all. 6. Shadow conversations. Repeat what you hear out loud. This tactic is important, but it can be tricky when you're doing a brand new lesson. If you're reviewing dialogues from lessons you've done though, it's super easy to do. Just listen to the dialogue and repeat what you hear. Shadowing means mimicking the speaker as soon as they speak, following their intonation and rhythms as closely as possible. 7. Send recordings to your Premium Plus teacher. If you want to speak with confidence, there's no better confidence boost than feedback from a native speaker, and you get just that with a Premium Plus teacher. You can record yourself reciting a lesson dialogue or any dialogue of your own, and your teacher will give you specific tips on how to improve. From the tips your teacher gives you, choose at least one and practice, practice, practice. Being able to react quickly and with confidence in a conversation is typically not something you can do on your first try, but if you continue practicing, you'll gradually find yourself speaking with ease. And for even more ways to build your speaking confidence, check out our complete language learning program. Sign up for your free lifetime account by clicking on the link in the description. Get tons of resources to have you speaking in your target language. And if you enjoyed these tips, hit the like button, share the video with anyone who's trying to learn a new language, and subscribe to our channel. We release new videos every week. I'll see you next time. Bye! Hi everyone, I'm Alicia. Welcome to Conversational Phrases. We've found that the best way to learn a language is to speak it from day one. And the best way to start speaking is to learn phrases that you'll use in real conversations. In this lesson, we'll learn conversational phrases to answer the question, what kind of movies do you like? After watching this video, you'll be able to talk about movies and ask other people about their favorite kinds of movies. And if you want to learn more vocabulary, phrases, and example sentences you can use in real-life situations, click the link in the description to download your Talking About Movies and TV PDF cheat sheet for free. Now, let's take a look at some conversational phrases.
Listen to the dialogue.
Qual tipo de filme você gosta?
Eu gosto de filme de terror.
Once more with the English translation.
Qual tipo de filme você gosta?
What kind of movies do you like?
Eu gosto de filme de terror.
I like horror movies. First of all, you'll need to learn how to say, What kind of movies do you like? That's
Qual tipo de filme você gosta?
listen to it again.
Qual tipo de filme você gosta? Qual tipo de filme você gosta?
Now, how do you answer this question? The pattern is
Eu gosto de filme de.
type of movie. This Portuguese sentence literally translates as I like movies of type of movie, but it means I like type of movie, movies. For example, I like horror movies.
Eu gosto de filme de terror. Eu gosto de filme de terror.
Here are a few more kinds of movies you can use with the same pattern to talk about movies. Horror,
Terror. Terror.
comedy,
Comédia. Comédia.
fantasy,
Fantasia. Fantasia.
romance,
Romance. Romance.
Let's look at some examples. Listen and repeat or speak along with the native speakers.
Qual tipo de filme você gosta? Eu gosto de filme de comédia. Qual tipo de filme você gosta? Eu gosto de filme de fantasia. Qual tipo de filme você gosta? Eu gosto de filme de romance.
Okay, now it's your turn. Do you remember how to say, what kind of movies do you like?
Qual tipo de filme você gosta?
Imagine you like comedies. Do you remember how to say comedy?
Comédia. Comédia.
Say, I like comedies.
Eu gosto de filme de comédia.
Now answer the question saying that you like comedies.
Qual tipo de filme você gosta? Eu gosto de filme de comédia.
Now imagine that you like fantasy movies. Do you remember how to say fantasy?
Fantasia. Fantasia.
Say, I like fantasy movies.
Eu gosto de filme de fantasia.
Now, answer the question saying you like fantasy movies.
Qual tipo de filme você gosta? Eu gosto de filme de fantasia.
Now imagine you like romantic movies. Do you remember how to say romance?
Romance. Romance.
Say, I like romantic movies.
Eu gosto de filme de romance.
Now answer the question saying you like romantic movies.
Qual tipo de filme você gosta? Eu gosto de filme de romance.
Want to speak and understand more of your target language? If so, of course, you'll need to know more words and phrases than you do now. In this video, we'll cover 5 ways to master new words and phrases fast. Number 1, use our free vocabulary list. This is a free library of vocabulary and phrase lessons for all kinds of situations. You can learn words and phrases for current events, holidays like Halloween and Thanksgiving, and useful topics like the top 10 ways to say hello, conversational phrases, and more. You'll learn phrases that you won't find in textbooks. If you want to learn extra fast, use the slideshow tool. Just tap or click on View Slideshow, then sit back and review the words and phrases. Find the vocabulary list in the vocabulary drop-down menu on the site. These vocabulary lists are free for all users. Number 2, take the audio and video lessons. One of the best ways to learn new words is by hearing and using them in conversations. This is because it gives you the opportunity to understand how the words are actually used. In every lesson dialogue, you'll likely come across some words you don't know. But don't worry, because our teachers translate everything. When you hear the conversation again at the end of the lesson, you'll be familiar with the words you didn't know at first. Number 3, learn with our 2,000 most common words list. A quick question. How many words do you think you need for conversational fluency? 3,000? 5,000? It's actually not as many as you think. Language experts say you need about 1,500 words to reach conversational fluency. With our 2,000 most common words list, you'll get access to key vocabulary words you need to boost your conversation skills. The words are broken down into simple categories, such as adjectives, nouns, verbs, food, drinks, numbers, months, and so on. So you can go category by category and focus on what you're most interested in first. With this tip, we're not talking about paper flashcards. We're talking about the smart flashcards that you can find in our premium study tools. This is an automatic system individualized for each member based on their study needs. First, you'll use the cards to check your knowledge. Then, according to your answers, the cards will be sorted according to which words you need more practice with. Words that you struggle with will be shown to you more and more. You'll see words that you know well less often. This system helps you study more efficiently. It displays the words you need to work on and knows when you should refresh your knowledge. This helps make sure you don't forget vocabulary. In every study session, these cards will help you refresh your memory on the words you learned last time and introduce new words. Number 5, use the words. After you learn a new word, using it right away is crucial to remembering it. So, when you're done with a lesson or a vocab list, here's something you can do. Leave a comment. Make up a sample sentence and post it in the comment section. Write it down in a notebook, or shadow the word with a lessons dialogue. Our language learning program is full of tools that can help you speak more. Just pick one and get started. If you want to unlock all of these study tools, check out our complete language learning program. Sign up for your free lifetime account by clicking on the link in the description. Get tons of resources to have you speaking in your target language. And if you enjoyed these tips, hit the like button, share the video with anyone who's trying to learn a new language, and subscribe to our channel. We release new videos every week. I'll see you next time. Bye! Hi everyone, I'm Alicia. Welcome to Conversational Phrases. We've found that the best way to learn a language is to speak it from day one. And the best way to start speaking is to learn phrases that you'll use in real conversations. Today, we'll learn conversational phrases about occupations. After watching this video, you'll be able to talk about your job and ask what somebody does for a living. And if you want to learn more vocabulary, phrases, and example sentences you can use in real-life situations, click the link in the description to download your occupation PDF cheat sheet for free. Now, let's take a look at some conversational phrases.
Listen to the dialogue.
Qual é a sua profissão?
Eu sou artista.
Listen to it again, now with the English translation.
Qual é a sua profissão?
What do you do?
Eu sou artista.
I'm an artist. First of all, you need to learn how to say, what do you do? That's
Qual é a sua profissão?
Listen to it again.
Qual é a sua profissão? Qual é a sua profissão?
Now, how do you answer this question? This is the pattern you'll need.
Eu sou,
Your occupation. I'm a, an, your occupation. For example, I'm an artist.
eu sou artista. Eu sou artista.
Here are a few more professions you can use with the same pattern. Police officer,
Policial. Policial.
teacher,
Professor. Professor.
Professora. Professora.
doctor,
Médico. Médico.
Médica. Médica.
engineer,
Engenheiro. Engenheiro.
Engenheira. Engenheira.
Now, listen to some examples.
Qual é a sua profissão?
Eu sou professor.
Qual é a sua profissão?
Eu sou médico.
Qual é a sua profissão?
Eu sou engenheiro.
Okay, now it's your turn. Do you remember how to say, "What do you do?"
Qual é a sua profissão?
Imagine you're a doctor. Do you remember how to say, "Doctor"?
Médico. Médico.
Say, "I'm a doctor."
Eu sou médico.
Now answer the question saying that you are a doctor.
Qual é a sua profissão?
Eu sou médico.
Now, imagine you're a teacher. Do you remember how to say teacher?
Professor. Professor.
Say, "I'm a teacher."
Eu sou professor.
Now, answer the question saying that you are a teacher.
Qual é a sua profissão?
Eu sou professor.
Now, imagine you're an engineer. Do you remember how to say engineer?
Engenheiro. Engenheiro.
Say, "I'm an engineer."
Eu sou engenheiro.
Now, answer the question saying that you are an engineer.
Qual é a sua profissão?
Eu sou engenheiro.
Most people who learn a foreign language learn it so that they can one day have real-life conversations with native speakers. When you start out learning and crack open your first textbook or listen to your first podcast, having a real conversation can feel like a fantasy. When everything about a language feels new, it can be overwhelming. But this couldn't be further from the truth. While it does take a significant amount of time and effort to become fluent, having a conversation might not be as far off as you think. In this video, we'll look at 3 ways you can boost your conversational skills and start talking to native speakers. Number 1, find native speakers and practice with them. It's unlikely you live near a big group of native speakers to practice with. If you happen to be in a major or international city, your chances may be better. Check and see if your city has a general language exchange. Chances are there could be a native speaker there who is also trying to learn another language. Practicing in person with a native speaker is probably the most interesting option for honing your speaking skills. But if you can't find anyone where you live, the next best option is to look online. Luckily for language learners, the past 10 years or so have seen an explosion in online language exchange sites. On these websites, you can search for someone who is a native speaker of your target language and is also learning your native language. The idea behind a language exchange is that you communicate with them via video or text chat, and half of the time, they help you practice your target language. And for the other half, you help them practice theirs. Practicing via an online language exchange is a highly effective way to practice your conversational skills. Number 2, work on pronunciation. Pronunciation is often an overlooked skill when it comes to learning a foreign language. Most people think of a good foreign accent as a luxury rather than a necessity. But what most people don't talk about is how having a good accent boosts your listening and comprehension skills. If you can hear a sound from a foreign language and know how to make it yourself, then you're more likely to understand native speakers when they talk at normal speed, and you're also more likely to remember any new words or phrases you come across. Having a good accent means that the language no longer sounds foreign. Instead, it sounds familiar, maybe even natural. So how do you go about perfecting your accent? The best way is to break down the language into its individual sounds. Make note of any sounds that are the same or similar to your native language and of those that are different. Of the sounds that are different, spend your time practicing the ones that you find the hardest to say correctly. After you're comfortable with the individual sounds, you can start linking together words and phrases. This is where accent practice starts to get really fun and interesting. Get your hands on some native speaker audio from a TV show, song, or podcast. Play the audio back and listen closely a few times. Take note of how words blend together in speech. Then, do your best to imitate what you hear, trying to match the speaker's emphasis and intonation. Our language learning program's playback feature is perfect for this. Record yourself and compare it to the original recording. Rinse and repeat until you're comfortable with the audio selection, and then move on to something more difficult. This is how you can break through the accent barrier and really start to make the language your own. Number 3, learn phrases, not just individual words. Learning grammar and individual words is great, but it's not the only approach you should take if you want to speak fluently. In addition to your regular grammar and vocabulary, try learning whole phrases, even if you aren't totally sure how they work grammatically. Learn phrases that are specific to your needs. It's a good idea to learn phrases that are grouped around a certain setting or subject, such as simple greetings or introductions, questions for getting to know someone, or traveling comfortably. You can even learn filler phrases, which you can use so that you have something to say when, well, you don't know what to say. Learning phrases like this will help you become conversational faster. You may not understand what you're saying literally, but as long as you know the general meaning behind the phrase and know when to use it, you'll be able to talk like a native. Eventually, your knowledge of grammar and vocabulary should catch up with the phrases you know. Learning a new language should feel like an adventure. There will be plateaus and periods in your learning where it feels like you're hitting a wall, but being able to speak with native speakers and have real conversations will help you combat language fatigue. After all, talking to someone face-to-face in a foreign language is one of the main reasons we start learning in the first place. And for even more ways to gain conversation skills, check out our complete language learning program. Sign up for your free lifetime account by clicking on the link in the description. Get tons of resources to have you speaking in your target language. And if you enjoyed these tips, hit the like button, share the video with anyone who's trying to learn a new language, and subscribe to our channel. We release new videos every week. I'll see you next time. Bye! Want to speed up your language learning? Take your very first lesson with us. You'll start speaking in minutes and master real conversations. Sign up for your free lifetime account. Just click the link in the description. Hey everyone, Alicia here. Welcome to Conversational Phrases. We've found that the best way to learn a language is to speak it from day one. And the best way to start speaking is to learn phrases that you'll use in real conversations. In this lesson, we'll learn conversational phrases to answer the question, how's your mother? After watching this video, you'll be able to talk about well-being and ask how someone is doing. And if you want to learn more vocabulary, phrases, and example sentences you can use in real-life situations, click the link in the description to download your Conversation About Family Well-Being PDF cheat sheet for free. Now let's take a look at some conversational phrases.
Listen to the dialogue.
Como está sua mãe? Ela está bem.
Once more with the English translation.
Como está sua mãe?
How's your mother?
Ela está bem.
She's fine. First of all, you'll need to learn how to say, how's your mother? That's,
Como está sua mãe?
listen to it again.
Como está a sua mãe? Como está sua mãe?
Now, how do you answer this question? The pattern is
Ela está.
state of well-being. She is state of well-being in English. For example, she's fine.
Ela está bem. Ela está bem.
Here are a few expressions related to well-being that you can use with this pattern. Great,
Ótimo. Ótimo. Ótima. Ótima.
fine,
Bem. Bem.
so-so,
Mais ou menos. Mais ou menos.
bad,
Mal. Mal.
Let's look at some examples. Listen and repeat or speak along with the native speakers.
Como está sua mãe? Ela está ótima. Como está sua mãe? Ela está mais ou menos. Como está sua mãe? Ela está mal.
Okay, now it's your turn. Do you remember how to say, how's your mother?
Como está sua mãe?
Imagine she's great. Do you remember how to say, great?
Ótimo. Ótimo.
Say, she's great.
Ela está ótima.
Now, answer the question saying she's great.
Como está sua mãe? Ela está ótima.
Now imagine she's so-so. Do you remember how to say so-so?
Mais ou menos. Mais ou menos.
Say, she's so-so.
Ela está mais ou menos.
Now, answer the question saying she's so-so.
Como está sua mãe? Ela está mais ou menos.
Now imagine she's bad. Do you remember how to say bad?
mal, mal.
Say, she's bad.
Ela está mal.
Now answer the question saying she's bad.
Como está sua mãe? Ela está mal.
Want to speak real Portuguese from your first lesson? Sign up for your free lifetime account at PortuguesePod101.com.
When learning a new language, everyone should have an ultimate goal to work towards. Whether you want to be able to connect with a relative, easily order food while traveling, or go somewhere new, having an end goal for your learning can be very motivating. A popular but challenging goal is being able to speak like a native speaker. It's difficult to measure exactly when you reach this goal, and it's not something you can pick up using textbooks alone. So how do you work on making your speech more natural? That's what we're going to look at today. Here are 3 tips to help you practice talking like a native speaker. Number 1, focus on vocabulary. If your goal is to speak like a native, you might be really focused on speaking quickly or using as many complex grammar patterns as possible. But in our native languages, we're not always trying to speak as fast as possible, and we use complex grammar patterns when necessary, not to show off. Vocabulary, however, is extremely important to expressing ourselves naturally. Your choice of words can reveal a lot about you and your understanding of the language. Most learners have had the experience of using a phrasebook or a dictionary to find a word they want to use, trying the word in conversation, and getting a look of confusion from the native speaker. In some cases, although your word choice may be grammatically correct, the word may be inappropriate for the situation or totally unnatural. This is especially important in business and other formal situations, where the right level of formality and professionalism is key. Being able to understand nuances in vocabulary words can also help you understand relationships between people just by listening to the conversation. Try to listen to many different types of conversations. Listen to how people talk to their friends, their superiors, and in customer service situations. This will give you a better idea of how to talk to others naturally. In some languages, you can omit words from sentences or use more direct communication styles. It's important to be aware of these things so you can apply them yourself. Colloquialisms and slang are also commonly used in most languages. As this sort of vocabulary is always evolving, it can be difficult to keep up with the latest words. Talk with native speakers and consume media in your target language to make sure you pick up these kinds of expressions. Media is a great resource for your learning. Ultimately, knowing the appropriate vocabulary to use for each situation will really help you sound more knowledgeable. Number 2, perfect your accent. With every language, there are unique pronunciation and intonation challenges. Some languages are tonal languages, and a change in pitch can completely change the meaning of a word. Then there's the fact that most countries have multiple dialects, and so people from one area of the country may sound different from those in another. So what is the best way to listen to a wide range of accents and different pronunciations? Video and audio resources are a great way to do this. YouTube is a perfect place to start because people from all kinds of different backgrounds upload videos to the platform. You can watch educational videos, daily life vlogs, cooking shows, a travel series, whatever interests you. Pay attention to the different ways people speak. Everyone is unique. And then practice speaking like them. This kind of practice can help you sound more natural. One note, please be aware of the type of resources you're using. For example, if you find a video where a speaker uses a rare dialect, it might not be a good idea to use that for your pronunciation practice, unless you have a special reason for studying a specific accent. As a general rule, it's best to try to search for practice resources that use a standard form of the language you're studying. Number 3, copy what you hear. Do you remember how you learned to speak as a child? We rarely learned new words just listening to them, or reading after we learned how. When we were little kids, we imitated the sounds we heard by repeating the sounds out loud. While you're talking to a friend, watching videos, or listening to audio in your target language, you can do this to try and replicate the way they speak. Doing this will help you work on mastering the flow of the language, your accent, intonation, and pronunciation. Of course, you might also pick up some new vocabulary this way. Make sure to repeat new words often. It's a great way to make sure you remember them. Try doing this using a number of different mediums and sources. That way, you'll be exposed to the diversity that the language offers and master the fundamentals of pronunciation. For example, you can watch and imitate several different YouTube videos and audio CDs, but try a few different sources, like different creators or different audio types, to make sure you experience a wide range of communication in your target language. If you're using our language learning program, you can even get your own teacher with Premium Plus. Your teacher can answer questions, give assignments, and even listen to your recordings and give you advice on pronunciation. Completing these kinds of lessons with a native teacher can really boost your confidence in your speaking skills. Becoming able to speak like a native is a popular goal for many people learning a new language. It feels great to be able to communicate smoothly, especially when the people you're talking to expect basic level sentences or broken communication. Try using the tips we've shared in this video to work on improving your speaking skills. Of course, it'll take time and persistence, but the reward will be more natural communication. And for even more tips on speaking, check out our complete language learning program. Sign up for your free lifetime account by clicking on the link in the description. Get tons of resources to have you speaking in your target language. And if you enjoyed these tips, hit the like button, share the video with anyone who's trying to learn a new language, and subscribe to our channel. We release new videos every week. I'll see you next time. Bye!
Bom dia, gente, tudo bom? Paloma here. Welcome to another Top Portuguese Words. Today's topic is must-know expression for agreeing and disagreeing. Exatamente. Exactly. Exatamente. Exactly. Exatamente comes from the word exato, which means exact. You can also say exato, that's right, or that's exact. Bom, eu não tenho certeza. Well, I'm not sure. Bom, eu não tenho certeza. Well, I'm not sure. Certeza means certain or sure, of course. So you can also say certeza, of course, or sure. It's the opposite for, well, I'm not sure. Bom, eu não tenho certeza. Claro, of course. Claro, of course. Claro can also mean bright, like a bright color, cor clara, but it also means sure or of course. Can you help me? Claro, claro que eu posso te ajudar. Of course I can help you. Acho que sim. I guess so. Acho que sim. I guess so. Literally, the sentence is translated as I think yes in English, but it means I think so. For example, are you free tomorrow? Você está livre amanhã? I think so. Eu acho que sim. Eu ia falar isso agora. I was just going to say that. Eu ia falar isso agora. I was just going to say that. I guess the sentence seems like someone stole your idea right before you're going to say it. Ah, eu ia falar isso agora, but you said it before me. Tá, você está certo. Yeah, you're right. Tá, você tá certo. Yeah, you're right. Remember that this sentence is informal because you're using você. So if you're using this sentence in a formal or business context, it's better if you say sim, o senhor está certo. Sim, a senhora está certa. Okay? Você está errado. You're wrong. Você está errado. You're wrong. I don't think that's a very nice sentence to say to someone because it's very harsh. So you could say, eu acho que você está errado. I think that you're wrong. That is less direct than você está errado. You're wrong. Acho que não. I don't think so. Acho que não. I don't think so. This is the opposite from acho que sim that we said previously. So it also is translated as I think that no. Eu acho que não. Talvez. Maybe. Talvez. Maybe. This sentence neither agreeing nor disagreeing. It's just on the fence. Em cima do muro, as we say in Portuguese. Talvez. Maybe. Eu não concordo, não. I don't agree. No. Eu não concordo, não. I don't agree. No. So finally here we're using the verb concordar, to agree. To say the opposite, you can use discordar, to disagree, or não concordar, not to agree, or doesn't agree. The question for this answer would be, você concorda? Do you agree? Or just concorda? Agree? And the answer is, eu concordo, or eu não concordo. Also, the word concorda has the same pronunciation as with rope. So sometimes people make fun and say concorda ou sem corda, with rope or without rope, but meaning, do you agree? The end. That's it for today. Thanks a lot for watching and I hope you enjoyed it. Let us know in the comments if you agree or disagree with this video. See you next time. Bye bye.
Oi, gente, tudo bem? This is Jade Furuta and welcome to another Portuguese Weekly Words. Today's theme is life events. Yay! This sounds exciting. Nascimento, nascimento. Birth. O nascimento de uma criança é um milagre. O nascimento de uma criança é um milagre. A child's birth is a miracle. Aniversário. Birthday. O meu aniversário é dia 16 de dezembro. O meu aniversário é dia 16 de dezembro. My birthday is December 16th. Casamento. Wedding. Que cerimônia de casamento linda! Que cerimônia de casamento linda! What a beautiful wedding ceremony! Se aposentar. Se aposentar. To retire. Quando você vai se aposentar? Quando você vai se aposentar? When are you gonna retire? Morrer. To die. Eu vou morrer de rir com esse filme. I'm gonna die of laughing with this movie. Acabou! The end. Thank you for watching and até a semana que vem. See you next week. Beijo. Tchau.
Want to finally start speaking in your target language? In this guide, you'll discover the top 7 ways to practice speaking on your own with our lessons. Let's begin. Number 1, shadowing. Shadowing is a proven learning technique where all you do is repeat what you hear in order to practice speaking. So access any audio or video lesson on the site and press the play button to start. Then, as you listen or watch, just repeat the conversations. Or, even easier, read along out loud with the dialogue section. The script is right there in front of you. With our lessons, you can master entire conversations, just like that. Number 2, read out loud. I just mentioned it, but reading out loud is another powerful tactic and deserves its own mention. With every lesson, you get written transcripts and translations. So, as you play the lesson, read the dialogue out loud as you hear it. Why? By reading out loud, you're also practicing your speaking skills. You can do this with the lesson notes, the lesson transcript, or the dialogue tool. With the dialogue tool, you can listen to each line again and again, and repeat out loud until you master them all. Number 3, speed up your reading to speed up your speaking. Being able to speak without thinking is a sign of language mastery. If you're talking to a native and can respond quickly, they'll assume that you're fairly fluent. How can you do this? When you read out loud, try increasing your speed a little bit every time. So, start by reading with the dialogue tool. If you're like most learners, you'll read the first line slowly. That's because you're still getting used to the words, which is okay. Reread it. On your second try, you know most of the words, and you'll read a little faster. Reread it again. On your third try, you'll be even faster, at a native speaker's speed. And being able to read these phrases out loud and fast will help you speak fast. Number 4, record and compare yourself with native speakers. In order to sound like a native speaker, you must imitate native speakers. So here's how. Access the voice recorder, which is in the dialogue study tool in every lesson. Click on the microphone icon. Listen to the native speaker's audio, and then record yourself. You can then compare the two recordings side by side and practice and try again and again until you perfect your pronunciation. Number 5, get feedback from our Premium Plus teacher. If you're learning by yourself and don't have access to real teachers, then you can always get feedback from our Premium Plus teachers. With the My Teacher tool, you can record yourself speaking and send the audio file to the teacher. They'll review it and tell you what to improve and how. That's it. Number 6, level up your speaking with Premium Plus assignments. With Premium Plus, you can also get assignments that cover reading, writing, listening, and even speaking from your teacher. These assignments can be tailored to your goals and needs. You get a new one every week, or anytime you're ready for a new one. Number 7, get even more lessons in the lesson library. If you want even more lessons on speaking and conversations, visit our lesson library and under Category, choose Conversation. You'll get all of the pathways and lessons that are focused on speaking. If you enjoyed these tips, hit the like button, share it with anyone who's trying to learn a language, and subscribe to our channel. We release new videos every week. And if you're ready to finally learn language the fast, fun, and easy way, and start speaking from your very first lesson, get our complete learning program. Sign up for your free lifetime account right now. Click the link in the description. I'll see you next time. Bye! Want to finally learn Portuguese the fast, fun, and easy way? In this video, I'll show you the top 10 ways to get started. So let's begin. Number 1, take your very first lesson. Access any audio or video lesson on PortuguesePod101.com and just press the play button to get started. Don't have an account? Don't worry. Just go to the sign up page to create an account. It takes less than 30 seconds and it's free. We have thousands of audio and video lessons covering a variety of topics like grammar, pronunciation, listening, and reading. Just click on the play button on any lesson and start learning. Number 2, read along with the lesson. You can read along with the lesson notes or lesson transcript. These come with every lesson. The lesson notes provide you with the dialogue for the scene taught in the lesson, along with translations, a more in-depth explanation of the grammar and culture, and even vocab and sample sentences. The lesson transcript is the full word-for-word transcript of everything you hear in the lesson. And the dialogue study tool provides you with the audio for the lesson dialogue, along with the translations. Number 3, shadowing. Shadowing is a tested learning technique where you repeat what you hear. This is a great way to start speaking in minutes and practice speaking in general. If you're listening along with the lesson audio or dialogue, be sure to shadow along the way. Number 4, use the dialogue study tool to master the conversation. Here, you get the line-by-line breakdown of the conversation demonstrated in the lesson. Listen and repeat until you've mastered each line. Do this until you've mastered the entire conversation. Number 5, use the voice recorder to perfect your pronunciation and speaking. In the dialogue study tool, you'll find a microphone icon next to each line. Click on it to record your voice. Then, compare it with the native speakers. Listen and adjust your pronunciation until you match that of the native speaker. Number 6, review vocab with the lesson vocabulary list. Vocabulary words are the building blocks of language. You can save vocab words taught in each lesson by clicking on Add to Word Bank. Want to drill the words with smart flashcards instead? Just click on Add to Flashcard Deck to do so. Number 7, listen to the review track. If you've studied an audio lesson before, just listen to the review track so that you don't have to listen through the entire lesson again. This is a great way to reinforce the material that you've learned, and it's great to have on the go. Just access any audio lesson and click on the download icon. Then click Review to download the review track. Number 8, review with quizzes after the lesson. Once you're confident enough with the material taught in the lesson, be sure to take the quiz to test your newfound knowledge. Take the review questions and answer true or false for each one. Or take the writing questions and input your answer. Remember to check the answers by clicking on the Check Answers button. Number 9, participate and leave a comment. The best way to master what you've learned is to use it. Join the community of learners by leaving a comment below at the end of every lesson. Our dedicated teachers will check your responses to correct you on any mistakes or provide you with helpful study tips and advice. And finally, number 10, move on to the next lesson. Done with a lesson? Mark the lesson as complete. You can see your overall learning progress on your dashboard. If you particularly enjoyed the lesson, mark the lesson as favorite so that you can come back to it later at any time. Click on the forward arrow to move on to the next lesson and continue learning. If you enjoyed these tips, hit the like button, share it with anyone who's trying to learn Portuguese, and subscribe to our channel. We release new videos every week. Remember, you can sign up to PortuguesePod101.com by clicking on the link in the description. Sign up takes less than 30 seconds, and it's free. I'll see you next time. Bye!
Oi gente, tudo bom? Paloma here. Welcome to Top 10 Ways to Remember Words. Eu aprendo sobre as raízes das palavras e como palavras diferentes são relacionadas umas com as outras. I learn about the roots of words and how different words are related to each other. É mais fácil de lembrar as palavras quando você sabe as raízes delas. It's easier to remember words when you know the roots. So you can relate some verbs with now, for example, correr, to run, and corrida, running. Also, fight, luta, with fighting, lutar. Eu categorizo novas palavras com outras palavras relacionadas que eu já conheço. I categorize new words with other related words that I already know. I think, for example, you could categorize all words that are related to home. Lar, casa, casão, casarão, casinha. There would be different ways to say home or house in Portuguese. Eu costumo assistir TV ou vídeos no YouTube que são feitos para crianças pequenas. I often watch TV or YouTube videos that are designed for young children. One of my favorite shows when I was little would be Castelo Rá-Tim-Bum, Rá-Tim-Bum Castle. Another one that was my favorite was Cocoricó. Cocoricó is the sound that the roosters do. Cocoricó! Eu procurei alguns vídeos infantis no YouTube para aprender português. I searched for some kids videos on YouTube to learn Portuguese. Eu escuto músicas e memorizo as letras. I listen to songs and memorize the lyrics. This is a very nice technique because usually you like the song you're learning, so it's easier to learn. That was one of the ways I learned English. Eu baixei várias músicas brasileiras para aprender português. I downloaded many Brazilian songs to learn Portuguese. Eu falo as palavras em voz alta para que eu possa ouvi-las. I say words out loud so that I can actually hear them. One thing is to understand the language, and the other thing is to be able to speak and communicate in the language. If you don't try to speak it out loud, you will never know if you can communicate and speak in the language. So you gotta try and don't be ashamed. Não tenha vergonha. Just try to speak it. Eu falo tudo errado, mas eu tento falar em português. I say it all wrong, but I try to speak in Portuguese. Eu falo o máximo possível com falantes nativos. I speak as often as possible with native speakers. If you're speaking with native speakers, there's no way you won't learn the language or the words that you want to remember. Because if you don't say the correct words, they will help you and try to correct you. That's very nice to have people that speak the language to motivate you too. Eu tenho vários amigos brasileiros que me ajudam com meu português. I have many Brazilian friends that help me with my Portuguese. Eu tento pensar em português, porque daí se torna natural para o meu processo de pensamento. I try to think in Portuguese, so it becomes natural to my thought process. One of the things that I noticed when I was learning English is that if you don't think in the language you're speaking, your brain has to do so many translations that you won't be able to become fluent in that language. So try to think little by little in the language you're learning, that it will help you a lot. Quando eu estou pensando em português, eu não consigo pensar em inglês. When I'm thinking in Portuguese, I can't think in English. Eu tento usar a língua repetidamente no contexto da vida cotidiana. I try to use the language routinely in the context of daily life. You can call little things in Portuguese in your house, like nouns, for example, spoon, colher, fork, garfo. You can also use your dog for talking to him in Portuguese and teach him some tricks in Portuguese. A minha professora de inglês só falava em inglês com o gato dela. My English teacher only spoke in English with her cat. That's true. Eu uso a repetição. Ler, escrever e falar as palavras várias vezes. I use repetition. Reading, writing and speaking words over and over again. You know the commercial that is on TV and is like every 10 minutes the commercial is there again on your TV? There's no way you forget that commercial, right? You gotta do the same with words. You just say that word again and again and again and there will be no way you forget it. Eu precisava decorar uma frase em português e fiquei falando ela o dia inteiro. I needed to memorize a phrase in Portuguese, so I spoke it all day long. Ler o máximo possível, especialmente o jornal, me ajuda a lembrar as palavras. Reading as much as possible, especially the newspaper, helps me to remember words. Newspaper is kind of advanced Portuguese because you won't find easy conversational words, they will be more formal and business words. But if you're already in that level, yeah, that would be a great help for you to read newspaper. Nowadays you can find newspaper online and also on YouTube there are many news channels. So that's a very good way to memorize and remember everyday words. Eu leio o jornal todos os dias para aprender palavras de economia. I read the newspaper every day to learn economy words. O fim, the end. Thanks a lot for watching and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. See you next time.
You've decided to study a new language. So now what? Well, you want to become fluent fast, right? Here are the top 5 shortcuts to learning a language. Number 1, create a study schedule and set some goals. Many language learners are unorganized. Creating a schedule allows you to free up time to study consistently. Goals give you motivation and something to strive for. Number 2, make it fun. If you learn how to make your study time enjoyable, chances are you'll be more inclined to study. Watch a TV show with subtitles or listen to some music. Number 3, find a language partner. This is the best way to improve your conversation skills. It will help you gain fluency even faster and increase confidence when speaking. Number 4, use word lists to build up a solid vocabulary. This is a great way to build up your fluency, one word at a time. Luckily, we have all the word lists you need, with a range of topics, from food to love. Choose whichever language you want to study and go. Number 5, don't be afraid to make mistakes. Nothing helps you improve more than correcting your own errors. You're more likely to remember it correctly the next time around. Everyone makes mistakes. Don't be afraid to learn from them. There's no magical way to learn a new language overnight, but doing all of these can really help your learning process. And remember, if you're interested in getting on the fast track to fluency, sign up for your free lifetime account. No credit card required, and you'll get the best free online resources. Start learning now.
20 travel phrases you should know. Travel, viajar. Você pode me ver um mapa? Could you get me a map? Você pode me ver um mapa? Could you get me a map? Well, nowadays everyone has cell phone and we have maps on it, so it's not that useful anymore. But sometimes in some smaller cities, it's very useful to have a map. So just remember the word, mapa. It's not that hard, right? Você fala inglês? Do you speak English? Você fala inglês? Do you speak English? Well, this is kind of a survival phrase, especially if you don't speak Portuguese very well. You should know that one. So you can, just approach everyone and just ask them, Você fala inglês? Você fala inglês? Well, if you speak another language, you can also ask, just change English for that language, right? Você fala inglês? Você fala francês? Você fala japonês? And hopefully someone will speak the language you need. Tem algum ônibus que vai do aeroporto até a cidade? Is there a bus from the airport to the city? Tem algum ônibus que vai do aeroporto até a cidade? Is there a bus from the airport to the city? In most airports, there will probably be a bus that goes from the airport to the city, so just ask information or guardinha, like a security guard. Yeah, we love to ask the guardinhas. Moço, Excuse me, sir. Moço, com licença. O Wi-Fi é gratuito? Is the Wi-Fi free? O Wi-Fi é gratuito? Is the Wi-Fi free? You can also say, o Wi-Fi é grátis? In most restaurants, hotels, and everywhere you go, they will have a Wi-Fi. So sometimes the Wi-Fi is free, but they still have a password. So you can ask, qual é a senha do Wi-Fi? What is the Wi-Fi password? Você tem um quarto vago para hoje? Do you have any vacancies tonight? Você tem um quarto vago para hoje? Do you have any vacancies tonight? I prefer to book for a room before going to the city, but many people prefer to just go to the place they want to go and there they find the hotel. Well, if you do that, then you have to ask, tem algum quarto para hoje à noite? Or tem algum quarto vago para hoje à noite? Eu poderia me mudar para outro quarto? Could I move to a different room? Eu poderia me mudar para outro quarto? Could I move to a different room? Well, there are many reasons why you want to change your room. Maybe it's too noisy, barulhento, or something's broken, quebrado. So you can just go complain, this is broken, or it's too noisy. Posso me mudar para outro quarto? Eu tenho uma reserva. I have a reservation. Eu tenho uma reserva. I have a reservation. Well, you can use this at hotels or restaurants. If you want to be more specific, you can say, eu tenho uma reserva no nome de. I have a reservation under the name of. Eu tenho uma reserva no nome de Paloma. Você pode trazer o cardápio, por favor? Could you bring the menu, please? Você pode trazer o cardápio, por favor? Could you bring the menu, please? Okay, this is very useful because many countries, they also use the word menu, similar to the English, but in Brazil, we mostly use the word cardápio. So don't forget it. If you say menu, they probably understand, but it's much more common to say cardápio. Você tem alguma sugestão? Do you have any recommendations? Você tem alguma sugestão? Do you have any recommendations? So you can ask that to the waiter, the waitress, or maybe the tour guide. You can also say like, I like meat. Do you have any recommendations? Eu gosto de carne. Você tem alguma sugestão? Você pode trazer a conta? Could I have the check? Você pode trazer a conta? Can I have the check? So, você pode trazer a conta literally means, can you bring me the bill? But, well, in English it's more common to say, can I have the check? Maybe. You can also say just, a conta, por favor. The check, please. Eu sou alérgico a amendoim. I'm allergic to peanuts. Eu sou alérgico a amendoim. I'm allergic to peanuts. I'm so lucky I'm not allergic to anything, so I can just order whatever I want. Maybe I won't like it, but at least it won't be bad for me. If you're allergic to something, make sure to know that word in Portuguese. If you don't know that word, you can just post in the comments below and we'll make sure to answer you. Uma água, por favor. Water, please. Uma água, por favor. Water, please. Usually when you order water in Brazil, they come in bottles, they don't come in glasses. And they are usually água mineral, not água com gás, which would be sparkling water. So if you just want normal, natural water, you can just say água mineral. Quanto custa este daqui? How much is this? Quanto custa este daqui? How much is this? So if you're in a store looking at things, you can just say, oh, I like that one. Quanto custa este daqui? How much is this? Eu quero 10 desses. I'd like 10 of this. Eu quero 10 desses. I'd like 10 of this. So if you went to the store and you asked, quanto custa este daqui? And you liked it, you can just say, eu vou levar 10 desses. I'm gonna take 10 of this. Eu quero este daqui. I'd like this one. Eu quero este daqui. I'd like this one. If you want to be very specific, you can say, eu quero este daqui. I'd like this one. If you want that one, we would say, eu quero aquele dali. Tem desconto? Is there a discount? Tem desconto? Is there a discount? So it's very common to ask for discounts in Brazil. You can also say, tem desconto no dinheiro? Is there a discount in cash? Especially if you're buying a lot of merchandise, you can ask that. Of course, you're not gonna ask in a supermarket or a chain store, but if it's like a local business, it's more common to give a discount. Maybe in touristic areas, not that common, but well, you should try, right? As we say in Brazil, não custa nada. Doesn't cost anything. At the most, your answer is gonna be não, no. Não tem desconto. Vocês aceitam cartão de crédito? Do you take credit card? Vocês aceitam cartão de crédito? Do you take credit card? Nowadays you can pay by credit card everywhere. It's very hard to find a place that doesn't accept credit card. Like, it's crazy. Even if you go, for example, to the beach, there's like the guy selling earrings and he's gonna have his credit card machine so you can pay with credit card. I'm not kidding. Yeah. Onde fica a rodoviária? Where's the bus terminal? Onde fica a rodoviária? Where's the bus terminal? You can say rodoviária or terminal rodoviário, but it's much more common just to say rodoviária. Quanto é a passagem? What's the fare? Quanto é a passagem? What's the fare? You can use the question at the rodoviária, the bus terminal, for example, for a long distance bus, but you can also use it for a local bus. For example, if you don't see the price that is usually in the front of the bus, you can just ask the driver, motorista, or cobrador, você poderia parar em, or você poderia me avisar? But first you have to ask, quanto é a passagem? Quanto é a tarifa? Você pode tirar uma foto de mim, por favor? Could you take a picture of me, please? Você pode tirar uma foto de mim, por favor? Can you take a picture of me, please? Most people nowadays don't leave their home without their selfie stick, which in Portuguese is pau de selfie. But if you don't have your pau de selfie, you can just ask someone, você pode tirar uma foto de mim, por favor? Or, você pode tirar uma foto de nós, por favor? Can you take our picture, please? Yeah, I'm talking with my ghost friend here. Top 10 phrases to amaze native speakers. Além do português, eu também sei outras línguas. Apart from Portuguese, I can speak other languages as well. If you say this phrase in Brazil, people will be so jealous at you because many Brazilians can't even speak English. So if you just say, eu posso falar outras línguas também, I can speak other languages as well, they will be like, okay, he's a genius. Ele é gênio. Além do português, eu também falo inglês, francês e espanhol. Apart from Portuguese, I can also speak English, French, and Spanish. Especially for people that can speak Portuguese, Spanish, even French and Italian are very easy. Not very easy, but easier to learn. Estou aprendendo português sozinho. I'm learning Portuguese by myself. I think it's a pretty amazing sentence to say because people usually go to language schools in Brazil to learn English and Spanish usually. But if you just say, you know, I'm learning that by myself, they will be like, wow. Não, eu não vou para a escola. Eu estou aprendendo português sozinho. No, I don't go to school. I'm learning Portuguese by myself. Estou estudando português faz 10 anos. I've been learning Portuguese for 10 years. That's a pretty long, hard-working path, right? Eu sei português porque eu estou aprendendo português faz 10 anos. I know Portuguese because I've been learning Portuguese for 10 years. E eu entendi tudinho que você disse. I completely understood everything you said. Using diminutives in Portuguese sentence shows that you can, you know, play with the language, so it seems like you're fluent in the language. If you say tudinho, that means small everything. Sounds like very Portuguese, very Brazilian. Não precisa repetir. Eu entendi tudinho que você me disse. You don't need to repeat. I completely understood what you said. Eu consigo assistir filmes em português sem legendas. I can watch movies in Portuguese without subtitles. Famous Brazilian movies you should watch are City of God, Cidade de Deus, or Tropa de Elite, The Elite Squad, which are all-time famous movies in here. Não precisa se preocupar, eu consigo assistir filmes em português sem legenda. You don't need to worry, I can watch movies in Portuguese without subtitles. Levou apenas um ano para me tornar fluente. It took me only 1 year to become fluent. I think if you're a native Spanish speaker, you might say levou apenas um ano, but if you're English speaker, it might take a little longer if you don't dedicate, all your time to learn Portuguese. If someone tells you, wow, seu português é ótimo, wow, your Portuguese is great, you can answer, não é nada, levou apenas um ano para me tornar fluente. No, it's nothing, it took me only 1 year to become fluent. Obrigada, mas na verdade eu não sou brasileira. Thank you, but I'm not Brazilian actually. Yeah, I think that's the most amazing phrase you want to hear. Nossa, eu achei que você fosse brasileira. Wow, I thought you were Brazilian. Obrigada, mas na verdade eu não sou brasileira. Thank you, but actually I'm not Brazilian. Português é divertido e fácil de aprender. Portuguese is fun and easy to learn. If you tell this phrase to your friends, I think they'll be amazed because we know Portuguese is not that easy. And you just say, não é difícil. Português é divertido e fácil de aprender. No, it's not hard. Portuguese is fun and easy to learn. Posso memorizar umas 50 palavras novas por dia em português. I can memorize around 50 new Portuguese words a day. Yeah, that's pretty amazing. Usually people can memorize 10 to 20 words a day, but if you say you can memorize 50, they'll be like, wow. Another word for memorize would be decorar, to know by heart. Você pode me ensinar mais. Eu posso decorar umas 50 palavras por dia em português. You can teach me more. I can memorize around 50 new words a day in Portuguese. Vou falar português como um falante nativo em 3 anos. I'll speak Portuguese like a native speaker in 3 years. That's a bold challenge, but if you're up to it, I think that's totally doable to learn and to be fluent in a language in 3 years. Eu vou estudar muito e vou falar português como um nativo em 3 anos. I'll study a lot and I'll speak Portuguese as a native speaker in 3 years.
Hi everyone, welcome to the Ultimate Portuguese Pronunciation Guide. In this lesson, you'll learn the top 5 Portuguese pronunciation mistakes to avoid. These are common mistakes that students of Portuguese tend to make, so pay close attention and make sure that you don't make these same mistakes too. Are you ready? Then let's get started. Number 1. Can't pronounce rolled R's. For many Portuguese learners, pronouncing the rolled R can be a difficult task. Listen to some examples.
Caro, Brasil, ler.
The only way to solve this problem is to keep listening to native Portuguese speakers and practicing it yourself, or practicing with us. It's quite a complex sound, but luckily for you, we have a small trick that can help you. If the R is not followed by a vowel, and if you are familiar with other dialects, you can use different accents to pronounce it properly without having to use the rolled R sound. Listen to the following examples.
Porta, porta, porta. Ler, ler, ler.
Check out Lesson 6 to master the pronunciation of the elusive rolled R. This is arguably the most difficult sound for Portuguese learners to pronounce correctly. It is similar to the ow sound in English, but with nasality. Saying the word pound repeatedly may sometimes help with pronouncing this sound. But again, the best way is to listen to native speakers and try to imitate them. Listen to the following examples.
Pão, são, coração.
We'll cover this sound and more diphthongs in Lesson 7. Number 3. Can differentiate between open and closed vowels. Unlike English, Portuguese distinguishes many vowel sounds based on their openness. Openness just refers to how widely your mouth opens up when pronouncing the vowel sound. The letters A, E, and O each have an open and closed variant, and many Portuguese words differ only in the openness of the vowel. That's why it's so important to get the proper pronunciation, otherwise you'll likely be misunderstood. Listen to the following examples.
Avô, avó. Massa, maçã.
We'll cover all the different Portuguese vowel sounds in the next lesson. The letters D and T can sometimes be pronounced differently from what you would expect. First, let's see the two ways you can pronounce the D.
Saudade, saudade. Idioma, idioma.
Now pay attention to the T sounds.
Sorvete, sorvete. Atividade, atividade.
The way you pronounce them varies based on the region you're visiting in Brazil. Don't worry about it too much, though, because they're just that, variations. Both pronunciations are correct, and you'll be understood regardless of which one you use. The letters J and G can sometimes be pronounced like
J,
it sounds like the S in pleasure. The problem arises when speakers begin substituting the English J or G sound for this sound. Listen to Jade and pay attention to the way it's pronounced in the following words.
julho. Agenda, geleia.
Don't worry if you don't get it straight away because we'll break down this sound in Lesson 5. Now you know the top 5 Portuguese pronunciation mistakes to avoid. Try to be careful so that you don't make these same mistakes. In the next lesson, we'll start learning Portuguese vowel sounds. What's your biggest challenge with Portuguese pronunciation? Is it one of these top 5 mistakes? Let us know in the comments. Stick with us and you'll overcome it quickly. See you in the next Ultimate Portuguese Pronunciation Guide lesson. Hi everyone! Welcome to the Ultimate Portuguese Pronunciation Guide. In this lesson, you'll learn all 13 Portuguese vowel sounds.
A, an, e, p, em, I, in, o, on, u.
By learning all of these sounds, you'll be able to pronounce any vowel that could possibly appear in Portuguese. Are you ready? Then let's get started. The first vowel is
A, lá, alface, amor.
This vowel sound is very similar to the A in father. This vowel sound is considered an open A sound because the jaw is low and the mouth is wide and open. Listen to how Jade pronounces this vowel.
A. A.
The next vowel is
Manhã, cama, banana.
This vowel sound is similar to the previous sound, except that it's the closed variant of the A sound. Compared to the previous sound, the jaw isn't opened as wide. It kind of sounds like the U in but. However, try to relieve the pressure from the back of the mouth slightly by moving the tongue forward a little. Pronouncing this sound quickly can also help with the pronunciation of this sound.
A.
The next vowel is
Ângulo, lã, São Paulo.
This is identical to the previous vowel sound, except there's nasalization. Nasalization means to pronounce it through the nose. Touch the tip of your tongue to the roof of your mouth and follow the groove to the back of the mouth. Could you feel the bone at the roof of your mouth? As you move further to the back of the roof of the mouth, there is a fleshy section that doesn't contain bone. This soft tissue that hangs at the back of the roof of the mouth is called the velum. The velum is raised when pronouncing oral sounds. To produce nasality, lower the velum to allow air to travel freely into the nasal cavity and out through the nose. Listen to Jade pronounce this nasal vowel.
An. An.
The next vowel is
E. Serra, meta, café.
This vowel sound is identical to the E in set. It's known as the open E sound in Portuguese.
É.
é. The next vowel is
e. Ser, medo,
It's similar to the E in the word ne. However, try not to carry over the I sound too much. This is known as the closed E sound in Portuguese.
e. E.
The next vowel is
Em. Centro, sempre, essência.
This is identical to the previous sound, but with nasalization. Remember, you want to pronounce it through your nose.
Em. Em.
The next vowel is
E. Sinal. Dia, país.
This is identical to the I in the word ski. The vowel I doesn't have any open or closed variants.
E.
The next vowel is
Em. Sinto, sim, ímpar.
This is identical to the previous sound, but with nasalization.
In.
The next vowel is
O. Avó, famosa. Óculos.
This is identical to the O in the word hot. This sound is known as the open O sound in Portuguese.
O. 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 O.
The next vowel is
O. Avô, oliveira, ovo.
This is similar to the previous sound, except that it's the closed version. This means that the mouth and tongue are positioned a little bit higher. It's quite similar to the O sound in the word coal. Listen to Jade.
O. 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 O.
The next vowel is
On. Conto, vontade, bom.
This is identical to the previous sound, but with nasalization.
On. 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 On.
The next vowel is
U. Rua. Saúde. Maduro.
This is identical to the U in the word rule. There are no open or closed variants for the U sound in Portuguese.
U. 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 U.
The last vowel sound for this lesson is
Fungo. Algum. Cúmplice.
This is identical to the previous sound, but with nasalization.
Um. Um.
Well done! You've just learned all 13 vowel sounds in Portuguese. With these sounds, you can pronounce any vowel that could possibly appear in the Portuguese language. Isn't that great? Which vowel sound was the most difficult for you to pronounce? Let us know in the comments. In the next lesson, you'll start learning consonant sounds. See you in the next Ultimate Portuguese Pronunciation Guide lesson. Hi everyone! Welcome to the Ultimate Portuguese Pronunciation Guide. In this lesson, you'll learn the final 3 Portuguese consonant sounds.
R, L, N.
These consonant sounds do not appear in English, so they'll likely be new to you. Be sure to practice them, because these are unique sounds of Portuguese which learners often get wrong. Are you ready? Then let's get started. The first consonant is
R, bravo, caro, árvore.
This consonant sounds like a combination between a D sound and an R sound. English speakers can sometimes pronounce this sound when saying the word better or butter quickly and lazily. The key here is to make sure that the tongue strikes the gum ridge very, very quickly. Striking in a down-up fashion may help to pronounce this sound. Ensure that you're keeping the contact brief. Keep in mind that the Portuguese R has considerable variation across dialects, so the R sound may be different depending on where the speaker is from. Okay, now listen and practice with Jade.
R, R. R, R,
The next consonant sound is
L, velho, sandália, alho.
You can sometimes produce this sound by saying the English word million. Try it. It sounds a bit like you're trying to say an L and a Y sound at the same time. Try to think of it as pronouncing an English L, but instead of using the tip of the tongue, try using the middle part of the tongue to approach the roof of your mouth. You want the air to escape to the sides and around your tongue.
L, 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 L.
The last consonant sound for this lesson is
N, manhã, conhecer, caminho.
You can sometimes produce this sound by saying the English word new. Try it. It sounds a bit like you're trying to say an N and a Y sound at the same time. Try to think of it as pronouncing an English N, but instead of using the tip of your tongue, try using the middle part of the tongue to contact the roof of your mouth.
Nhã, 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 nhã.
Well done! You just learned another 3 Portuguese consonants.
R, L, nhã.
We've covered every sound in standard Brazilian Portuguese. By mastering these sounds, you'll be able to pronounce anything in Portuguese. Isn't that great? How difficult were they to learn? Please comment and share your thoughts. In the next lesson, you'll learn about diphthongs in Portuguese. See you in the next Ultimate Portuguese Pronunciation Guide lesson. Hi everyone, welcome to the Ultimate Portuguese Pronunciation Guide. In this lesson, you'll learn 10 Portuguese consonant sounds.
N, P, S, Sh, T, Ch, W, Y, Z, J.
Nearly half of these consonant sounds are identical to the ones in English, so if you know English, they should already be familiar to you. Are you ready? Then let's get started. The first consonant is
N, nata, ano, também.
It's identical to the N in the word nice.
N, 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 N.
The next consonant is
P, peito, topo, pipoca.
It's identical to the P in the word spat. Similar to the K sound from the previous lesson, this is also an unaspirated P sound, meaning there shouldn't be a burst of air as you pronounce the sound.
P, 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 P.
The next consonant is
S, saco, isso, sussurrar.
It's identical to the S in the word see.
S, 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 s.
The next consonant is
Sh, xarope, baixo, roxo.
It's identical to the sh sound in the word sheep.
Sh, 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 sh.
The next consonant is
T, tempo, tatuagem.
It's identical to the T sound in the word stand. This is also an unaspirated sound.
T, 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 t.
The next consonant is
Ch, tchau, achim, tinta.
It's identical to the ch sound in the word chair.
Ch, 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 ch.
The next consonant is
Wa, quando, guarda, aguardar.
It's identical to the W in the word way.
Wa, 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 wa.
The next consonant is
Y, maio, saia, raio.
It's identical to the Y in the word you.
Y, 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 y.
The next consonant is
Z, zona, azul, casa.
It's identical to the Z in the word zebra.
Z, 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 z.
The final consonant for this lesson is
J, já, gente, argila.
It's identical to the G sound in the word rouge.
J, 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 j.
Well done! You just learned another 10 Portuguese consonants. Are there more familiar sounds than you expected? Let us know if you have any questions in the comments. In the next lesson, you'll learn 3 consonant sounds that are unfamiliar to English speakers. See you in the next Ultimate Portuguese Pronunciation Guide lesson. Hi everyone! Welcome to the Ultimate Portuguese Pronunciation Guide. You've made it to the last lesson. Do you feel more confident about speaking in Portuguese now? In this last lesson, we'll wrap things up by quizzing you on the material that we've covered in this series. Make sure to practice out loud with this lesson. You know all the parts and pieces, but can you speak Portuguese with a natural accent? If you've been quiet up until now, be sure to speak out loud with Jade. Are you ready? Let's go! You probably knew this phrase before you started this series, but did you know how to pronounce it correctly? Give it a shot.
Olha para cima.
Did you pronounce this sound correctly? It should sound like an L and a Y sound. Remember, you want to use the middle part of the tongue to contact the roof of your mouth.
Olha para cima.
If you still haven't got it, go back to Lesson 6 to review the material. What about this next one?
Atenção.
Did you pronounce the diphthong correctly? We covered this sound in Lesson 7. Remember, since it's a nasal diphthong, you should pronounce it through the nose. Listen to it again.
Atenção.
Okay, let's move on. Where is the stress in this example?
Aranha.
Since this word ends with a vowel that isn't an I or a U, the stress will be on the second to last syllable.
Aranha.
Here's the last one. Where is the stress in this example?
Matemática.
Accents are good indications of stress. Since this has the acute accent, it indicates that the syllable should be stressed and that it requires an open pronunciation.
Matemática.
How did it go? Do you feel like you have a better accent than you did at the beginning of this series? What parts of Portuguese pronunciation are still difficult for you? Good luck as you continue learning Portuguese. Bye! Hi everyone! Welcome to the Ultimate Portuguese Pronunciation Guide. In this lesson, you'll learn 10 Portuguese consonant sounds.
B, V, D, J, F, G, H, K, L, M.
These consonant sounds are identical to the ones in English, so if you know English, they should already be familiar to you. Are you ready? Then let's get started. The first consonant is
B. Boneca, abóbora, bola.
It sounds like the B in the word buy.
B, 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 B.
The next consonant is
V. Violeta, violão, avião.
It sounds like the V in the word vital.
V, 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 V.
The next consonant is
D. Dedo, ajuda, medo.
It sounds like the D in the word dad.
D, 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 D.
The next consonant is
D. Cidade, adivinhar, dia.
It's like the G in the word gym.
J, 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 J.
The next consonant is
F. Fase, filho, fofo.
It sounds like the F in the word find.
F, 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 F.
The next consonant is
G. Gato, agora, gago.
like the G in the word good.
G, 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 G.
The next consonant is
R. Jarra, sorriso, derrota.
It's identical to the H in hello.
R, 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 R.
The next consonant is
K. Cor, acordar, coco.
It sounds like the K in the word ski. Be careful though, because this is an unaspirated sound, meaning there shouldn't be a burst of air when you pronounce this consonant. Place your hand in front of your mouth and pronounce words such as kite or keep. Could you feel the burst of air? Now compare that to the word ski. Notice how the K in the word ski does not produce a burst of air. This is how the Portuguese C sound should be pronounced.
K, 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 K.
The next consonant is
L. Lua, alugar, luz.
It sounds like the L in the word look.
L, 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 L.
The final consonant for this lesson is
M. Mesa. Amor. Mamãe.
It sounds like the M in the word moon.
M. 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 M.
Well done! You just learned your first 10 Portuguese consonants. Was seeing the pronunciation illustrations helpful? Please comment and share your thoughts. In the next lesson, you'll learn 10 more consonant sounds that are familiar to English speakers. See you in the next Ultimate Portuguese Pronunciation Guide lesson. Hi everyone, welcome to the Ultimate Portuguese Pronunciation Guide. In this lesson, you'll learn about stress in Portuguese. But what exactly is stress? Stress refers to the prominence or relative emphasis placed on certain syllables of a word. When you say the word unbelievable, for example, do you notice how the li is accentuated? That's because it's pronounced longer and louder than any other syllable, and this is what we refer to as stress. Stress is essential for proper pronunciation and communication in Portuguese because it determines the rhythm. Without it, it'll be very difficult for Portuguese speakers to communicate with you. It's absolutely essential that you learn all the proper stress rules. There are a number of ways to determine where to place the stress in Portuguese. The easiest indication of stress is to look for the accent markers. These two accent markers, for example, indicate that a syllable is stressed.
Está. Centésimo. Água. Câmera. Essência. Avô.
If you encounter words that do not have an accent, then expect the stress to be on the second to last syllable. Words ending in an M, S, or a vowel other than I or U will follow this rule.
Falam. Comem. Luzes. Sonhos. Auto. Casa. Corre.
If the word doesn't follow any of the above rules, then the stress is on the last syllable.
Vendi. Javali. Hindu. Canguru. Falar. Anel. Animal.
By following this process, you'll be able to figure out where the stress is for about 95% of words in Portuguese. If you happen to forget the rules, however, the general principle is to place the stress on the second to last syllable. Most Portuguese words fall into this category, so there's a good chance you'll get it right. Now you know all the stress rules, so let's practice them. Where should the stress be placed in this word?
Código.
Did you get it right? The stress is on the first syllable. The acute accent should have been a dead giveaway. Here's the next one.
Jogam.
Since this word ends with an M, the stress should be on the second to last syllable, which in this case happens to be the first syllable. Okay, last one.
Urubu.
This word ends with the vowel U, meaning the stress should be on the last syllable. In this lesson, you learned about stress and accentuation in Portuguese. In the next lesson, we'll learn about assimilation in Portuguese. How did you do in the quiz? Let us know in the comments. See you in the next Ultimate Portuguese Pronunciation Guide lesson. Hi everyone, welcome to the Ultimate Portuguese Pronunciation Guide. In this lesson, you'll learn about accentuation in Portuguese. But what exactly are accents? When we refer to accents, we're really talking about the diacritics which appear above or below a letter. These markers are used to indicate a slight change to the original pronunciation of the letter. There are 5 primary accents used in Portuguese, 4 of which are for vowels and 1 for the letter C. Keep in mind, however, that certain accent markers can only appear over certain vowels. This accent, for example, known as the grave accent, can only appear over the vowel A. That means that you'll never have to worry about this accent appearing over any other vowel. Okay, now that you know what accents are, let's take an in-depth look at all the accents and their specific functions in Portuguese. First, we have the acute accent. It's represented by an upward stroke from left to right. This accent can appear over any vowel and indicates that you must stress the syllable.
secretária, único, ambíguo,
When it appears over the vowels O or E, however, it indicates that the syllable must be stressed and that the vowel requires an open pronunciation. An open pronunciation simply means the variation of the O or E sound, which requires the mouth to be wider and more open. If you've been studying all the sounds properly until this point, you should be able to recognize and reproduce them easily. If you can't, then you should go back and review Lesson 3 of this series.
ótimo, miséria,
Next, we have the circumflex accent. It's represented by a rooftop or hat symbol. The circumflex accent appears over the vowels A, E, and O. This accent indicates that you must stress the syllable and that the vowel requires a closed pronunciation. A closed pronunciation is the opposite of an open pronunciation. This means that you want to produce the variation of the O or E sound whereby the mouth is more narrow and closed.
urânio, pelo, por,
Next, we have the tilde. It's represented by a squiggly line. The tilde appears over the vowels A and O and indicates that the syllable must be pronounced with nasality.
irmã, irmão, questões, milhões,
Next is the grave accent. It's represented by a downward stroke from left to right. The grave accent only appears over the vowel A and is merely used for grammatical purposes, like differentiating words that would otherwise look and sound the same. It does not affect the pronunciation at all.
glória, a rainha, glória à rainha,
Lastly, we have the cedilla. It attaches to the letter C and indicates that the letter is pronounced like an S.
poço, moço, açúcar,
Now that you're familiar with all the accents, let's practice with a short quiz. How would you pronounce this word?
coração,
Did you recognize the accent in this example? It's the tilde accent, indicating that the vowel is meant to be pronounced with nasality. What about this next one?
carroça,
The accent used here is the cedilla. It indicates that you should read the C as an S. Okay, last one.
bebê,
Did you pronounce it correctly? Remember, the circumflex accent requires you to stress the syllable and to use a closed pronunciation. In this lesson, you learned about accentuation in Portuguese. In the next lesson, we'll review everything that we've learned in this series and test you on the material. Are there similar accents in your language? Share it in the comments. See you in the next Ultimate Portuguese Pronunciation Guide lesson. Expand your vocabulary with our Core 2000 Words ebook. It's free and packed with essential expressions that you'll use on a daily basis. Start building your vocabulary today. Click the link in the description below to download your free Portuguese ebook before it's gone.